See this plant? See how it's tilted more or less? I'm assuming unless that's camera angle, because this is pretty flat. So when you assume that, right. So that came down. That's the kid. We're going to actually, well, still, it might be that it's shifted the tail from that chair. It's not going to be any difference of what. We're going to do boards off the side. Get up here. Some modern tools, you know. So they knock these out. There's some more down here. There's more down here. And some over here. See this way? Like that.
15 years old, were you one of those kids?
So the rig is going to go right across. Yep. Oh, okay. So you weren't one of those kids. And I wasn't.
So we'll do speeches from here.
If he lived here. I don't think I would know how. Not enough to.
Yeah, I just don't have a Vermont fishing license.
Hey, he's got his fish bowl, so he's all set. He saw some big fish in there, so. Help yourself.
How much are the shirts? Oh,
Okay. Car keys, I don't know who's
The bridge had been built, and that's the Scott Farm that's right here. So we'd always wondered where the location of this mill was. We knew there was a mill here. Didn't know if it was water or steam. But with the stack, we're pretty sure it was a steam power. Funny, you do an event and then things come out of the woodwork.
In there. So if, you would be so kind as to wait a moment, because I don't think it can stay out in the sun. That is beautiful. I've been keeping an eye out for you. Yeah.
the program here. And how's the sound in the back? Okay.
President of the Townsend Historical Society, and also the President of the West River Community Project. I wanted to welcome all of you here, and I have a few brief words to say before we introduce some of our speakers and eventually cut the ribbon opening the new bridge. On behalf of the Townsend Historical Society, West River Community Project, and Hope in Action, we welcome you all to our celebration for the restoration of the Scott Bridge, and a special welcome to the extended family of Harrison Chamberlain, who built the bridge in 1870. Funding for the renovation came from the federal government at 81%. The rest of the funds came from the Vermont Division of Historic Preservation. We owe them a huge debt of gratitude that the Scott Bridge will continue to inspire us and our neighbors from all over the United States for many years to come. First in the program, we'll have a short talk by Robert Mcculloch about the original construction of the bridge and the significance of this 145-year-old structure. Next, we'll have a few words from the Vermont Division of Historic Preservation Officer Laura Trieschmidt, who's been invaluable in moving this project forward. A ribbon cutting ceremony will follow, then we'll move on to our potluck supper and square dance. The Scott Bridge brochures and the Townsend Historical Society books are available at the Historical Society table in the back. Also, the National Society of Preservation for Covered Bridges has a booth over there also with a bunch of interesting information. I'd like to right now introduce Robert Mcculloch, and he's going to say a few words.
Thank you. I think the place to begin is to express gratitude to the Townsend Historical Society, Heidi Clausen, and all of the other members of the Historical Society who made this event possible and who extended this invitation to me. The methods we choose to preserve our historic covered bridges are of great interest to me, and I'm grateful for this opportunity. I think it's also appropriate to acknowledge all of the engineers and builders and craftsmen who worked on this bridge, worked on this project. They include engineers Mark Sargent, John Weaver, and Chad Greenwood from the Vermont Agency of Transportation, and Mike Renault and the Renault brothers in Vernon, and also Hoyle Tanner engineers. I think this is a perfect occasion to at least consider the many different ways that we can observe, study, admire, and experience Vermont's landmark covered bridges. An important part of the story concerns the builders who acquired the skills necessary to assemble these impressive structures, and who often pass those skills down to family members. The feats of some of these builders have become legendary, not just among local historians, but also among professional engineers. Harrison Chamberlain framed this structure in 1870 following the 1869 flood. And several of his descendants are here today. Stephen Chamberlain. Mark Chamberlain.
He's not here.
And Linda Connery. Did I pronounce that correctly? Congratulations on a project well done. I want to also mention, and I'm sad to have to do this, but the unexpected passing of Joseph Conwell this past week has been a shock to all of us. Joseph is an encyclopedic source for covered bridges internationally, and I think he's irreplaceable. Let's talk a little bit about why these bridges are important. I think that an important part of the story also involves the design of these structures. Chamberlain, for the principal span of this bridge, which is 166 feet, Chamberlain likely assembled the structure in a nearby meadow owned by Henry Scott, hence the name Scott Bridge, and then rolled the bridge across the river onto temporary framing before resting the bridge on its abutments and then adding probably siding and the roof. And as with many of Vermont's covered bridges, a subsequent builder reinforced the principal structure by adding laminated plank arches. An important part, as with many of Vermont covered bridges too, there's an element of mystery. Two secondary spans, both king post trusses, completed the crossing and added 111 feet to the structure, making the Scott Bridge at 277 feet, Vermont's longest covered bridge, depending on who's doing the measuring. And I'm going to refer any questions about those measurements to Joseph Nelson, who's here today. Joseph is the author of a fabulous book, Spanning Time, Vermont's Covered Bridges. An important part of the story, too, involves the role of covered bridges in local history. And pick up just about any annual town report from the 19th century and turn to the pages that chronicle town expenditures. Bridges and roads consume a substantial portion of town expenditures, and major crossings, such as the Scott Bridge, were important decisions and were often debated. Over the years, those bridges have become intertwined with the lives of local residents from one generation to the next, and have also become key focal points in collective memory. An important part of the story also involves or concerns the fact that bridges in general, and covered bridges in particular, are very visually important features in our rural landscapes and village settings and urban environments. Artists and photographers seem to understand this better than anyone else. And it's remarkable how often imagery, landscape imagery, includes bridges of many different types. And that imagery underscores the many different ways that we can view bridges and cover bridges. In elevation from the river corridor below, as a narrow, clearly defined travel corridor through the bridge. This is a perfect setting to describe that. And also in perspective from many different vantage points, each a little bit, each varying just a little bit. That's important principally because awareness of the visual contributions of bridges to our landscapes becomes important when we are faced with decisions about how to alter, or when or if to alter our built and cultural environments. And I think also part of that value is taking time to sense what it's like to experience a covered bridge by walking through it or crossing it slowly by foot or by some other means. And I hope all of you will take time to do that today. But the bridge is also important for another slightly different reason. And the history of bridge engineering design in America during the 19th century was dominated by empiricism. It's a good word that simply means learning and advancing by experiment. And even trained European engineers acknowledged the inventiveness and ingenuity of American bridge builders during the 19th century. The design of truss systems, framed with wood and later wood with iron, mark a crucial stage or phase in the evolution of bridge design in this country. And surviving examples such as the Scott Bridge illustrate that spark of creativity that's so important. And if we are going to preserve these landmarks, we need to continue practicing inventiveness and ingenuity. We need to keep that spark of creativity alive. Now, historic covered bridges are a blessing to those of us in the field of historic preservation. Usually we're faced with the task of trying to convince people not to demolish important historic resources. Rarely, however, does anyone suggest, facing the possible request to leave town, that someone should demolish a covered bridge and replace it with a modern bridge. Yet challenges remain. And in 2003, the Vermont Agency of Transportation adopted what has become a very successful preservation plan for the state's covered bridges. The plan set the objective of assuring that Vermonters will be able to say 50 or 100 years from now that Vermont's landmark bridges are truly historic covered bridges and not a collection of structures that were largely rebuilt as new in the 21st century. The plan established three principal objectives. First, to preserve historic structural integrity, meaning to continue using the original structural system. Second, to preserve historic materials. And third, to preserve functional integrity, meaning to keep bridges in use as part of the network of roads in the state whenever possible. Unfortunately, it isn't always possible to, or it sometimes is very difficult to achieve all three. And for example, if we want bridges to carry certain types of vehicles, fire trucks, it may be necessary to strengthen structural systems, and in the process, historic materials are sometimes lost. Vermont's preservation plan preceded the inaugural National Conference for Covered Bridges, which convened at the University of Vermont in 2003. And attendees there adopted the Burlington Charter, borrowing from Vermont's preservation plan. And the Burlington Charter established similar goals. That conference was followed by a second national conference in Dayton, Ohio in 2013, in turn leading to the publication of two important works by the Historic American Engineering Record. The first is titled Covered Bridges and the Birth of American Engineering, and the second is titled Guidelines for Preserving Historic Covered Bridges. Now, all of that is important principally as a context for what we are doing here in Vermont to preserve our covered bridges. And the Scott Bridge and its companion bridge, the West Dummerston Bridge, downstream a ways, illustrate these challenges perfectly. The West Dummerston Bridge was rebuilt, largely rebuilt, more than a decade ago, with new and slightly different structural members, new floor beams, a great many new lattice planks, and new siding. Yet, that bridge is now capable of carrying school buses. And I think we might be unwise to underestimate the long-term value of that contribution. By contrast, the Scott Bridge here is comparatively free from the constraints of loading requirements, and thus becomes a little bit easier to preserve its historic structural system and its historic materials. Advocates for covered bridge preservation debate these issues intensely, and that's exactly as it should be. But I would argue that neither of those two choices is necessarily right or wrong. Instead, I think it's the process by which we reach those decisions that becomes critically important, a process that has been put into place by the preservation plan. That process is inclusive, and it involves rigorous investigation about all possible alternatives for preserving the bridges. And to me, that's the best part of our preservation plan. Now, often when members of the committee that has been created to oversee the preservation plan meet with town officials to discuss these difficult choices, a spark of creativity emerges from that dialogue. And that spark of creativity is a continuation of the inventiveness and the ingenuity that has characterized bridge engineering and building in this country throughout most of its history. And as long as that spark of creativity continues to survive, I'm confident that the future of Vermont's covered bridges, the Scott Bridge included, is secure. So that's what I have to say, and I think Laura is next up. Is that according to the schedule?
Over 60 years ago, this beautiful landmark was closed to the public traffic and deeded to the Vermont Historic Sites Commission, which is now the Vermont Division for Historic Preservation. 4 years ago, when I took the position as State Historic Preservation Officer, within a couple months, I got a phone call from a resident in Townsend who said, I need to put the covered bridge on your radar. And I was like, thank you, preservation, great, we can do this, but you gotta call V-Trans. They take care of bridges. With V-Trans, they're like, oh no, this bridge is yours. Like, oh, okay. So I continue to have conversations with residents of the area, with bridge aficionados and people dedicated and really care so much about covered bridges. And I immediately got the signal that this bridge in particular was exceptionally important. This bridge was constructed in 1870 when Ulysses S. Grant was president, when we had 3 governors, Peter Washburn, George Hendley, John Stewart. The first baseball team went on tour. It was the Cincinnati Red Stockings, but Rome became the capital of Italy. The soda fountain was patented. The first motion picture movie was shown. And the construction of the Brooklyn Bridge took place. So when that old joke over the dinner table comes about, if you believe this, I have a bridge to sell you, and they're usually talking about the Brooklyn Bridge, I can pipe in and say, I got a bridge I can sell you, but I won't. Because this bridge is very, very important to us. Much has changed since the 1870s, and then 147 years since the Scott Bridge opened. Maintenance techniques have changed. Repairs and alterations have saved the bridge, but over the years they've also harmed the bridge, as Bob was talking about. Yet the strong will of the king posts and the town lattice have sustained her. Under the masterful eye of V-Trans, with which we have a really important partnership to take care of our historic bridges, the Scott Bridge has been rehabilitated and saved for another 147 years of enjoyment. One change of note I do want to bring to your attention is that removing some of the siding, jumping from the bridge into the river, jumping from the roof into the river, or swinging from the bottom of the bridge is no longer allowed. That's a very good point. It probably was not allowed. Definitely not encouraged. The bridge should be used now for walking, bike riding, and of course, events like this with square dancing. I want to take this opportunity to thank the community for their love and dedication to the Scott Bridge. I also want to thank the Historical Society, the West River Community Project, the Community Hope in Action for sponsoring today's event, all of you for coming out. Most especially, I want to thank the family of the original builder, the builder himself, for leaving us something that we can still continue to carry on. The contractors who continue to carry it on with us, for us. And again, most especially V-Trans for their care in restoring this landmark historic site. Thank you so much to the community. Thank you so much to all of you. Covered bridges mean a lot to Vermont. This one most especially means a great deal to the state, the community, and I really thank you from the bottom of my heart for celebrating and saving, because without those phone calls, it wouldn't have been risen to the top of the list when it needed to. So thank you.
So I just have a couple more thank yous. I really would like to thank Don Evans from Green Mountain Tents for graciously supplying tables and chairs. The Calvary Church, who has been working with the Hope in Action group and has had dedicated workers here helping us set up and using facilities and creating a community in Townsend that we all cherish and love, and everyone comes out to enjoy that. Right now, I'd like to start the ribbon cutting ceremony. I'd like Laura to come up, and I'd like any of the Chamberlain family, ancestors of Harrison Chamberlain, to come up to help cut the ribbon. Please. We have a really big pair of scissors. I had thought we should have a big crossbow saw. It wasn't very practical, but everyone come on up. And Laura, would you do the honors with Mark? Is that something you want to do? I don't know. Can you handle those shears? Thank you, everyone. Please enjoy food, and we have plenty of seats. If the young guys can carry some of these seats for settings at the table, we have a potluck, and square dance will happen after dinner. And if you have any questions, please ask one of the Townsend Historical Society members. And thank you all for coming for this great celebration. We hope to have more in the future, so give us some ideas of a way to celebrate this bridge in the community. Thank you.
How are you doing? Get together. Dave. Let's everybody get over here.
Yep. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. No, it's my pleasure.
Oh. Standing. I was standing behind them, but I didn't see her until they called you up. Oh my God, that's Laura. She's not good about 4 minutes later. It's more legible this way. I hope you didn't record my Yes. I can't stay
Line first.
5 seconds. Put it right in here. No, put it right in here. That was about 6.5, but I'm good.
The floor's clean. So happy. It was very enjoy. This is a sweet lemonade mix, and this is plain old water, no sugar or caffeine or anything. That's plain water. Water. Yep. And we made it strong. Has a good taste to it. But if it's too strong, figured out a way to do it without
What you gonna eat? Very few people. Did you get most of it? Speech? Okay.
Sorry, you're not in the way at all. Please try to stay visionary. Come back to This is water. Plain old water. Only with a lemon. I almost didn't get it off in time. Here's the right a nice time. If you want to know the water, yeah.
Wow, iced tea?
It's kind of iced tea / lemonade, and it's sweet.
Great, oh, okay, super. That's good, thank you.
Post section, we took it all out and brought it into the field over there. I have a bunch of pictures of it too. We took it out, brought it into the field over there, replaced a bunch of parts, did a lot of rot repair. We put it together in the field in separate sections, and then we attached it to our tractor trailer. We drove it out of the field, and the crane picked it up and just set it in place. And it was done after that. You know, we just had siding and squaring up and the roof to put on. I might have some videos of it. I definitely have pictures of it if you want.
Some snapshots from the history of the place.
Yeah. Yeah, busy doing the work, you know. Oh, is there? I think I'm just gonna look around. I just ate. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, this guy's great.
You know what you're doing?
We were at some celebration, and my granddaughter.
I'm trying to do
I keep doing that.
And so she sang happy birthday to the state park.
She goes, are we going to sing happy birthday now, Mia?
The kids are going to turn this into their playhouse after a while. I hope they'll, respect it, yes. Delicious.
But they had just stopped whatever it was, and it was so quiet you could have heard a pin drop. And that's when she said, are we going to sing happy birthday? So everybody laughed, of course. And then one of the rangers turned around and started singing happy birthday the whole place.
I can't. I figured I'd just bring back a picture to show you, but we put an axle under it, and then we made up a fifth wheel so we could attach it to our tractor trailer, and then we drove it through the field right to our crane, and then our crane picked it up.
Nice picture, yeah.
And set it right in place.
Is that this bridge?
Yep.
Well, of course, he worked on this bridge. He was part of the construction crew.
Want to move a bridge to my house?
Yeah.
Renaud Brothers Construction, and he's the only one who happened to be going by.
Yeah, I just happened to go by. I thought there was a wedding going on.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, I just...
I'll of course credit you and Renaud Brothers and everything. Oh, my red, white, and blue. I'm going to get organized someday. But,
yeah.
Here.
shorter and shorter. Thank you. Well, just looking at it, you need one like, well, that doesn't look like it weighed it. Yeah. Probably took 3 people to carry it. Just cover up the frosting, yeah. That would require not being shy.
So, you know, some serious shoes.
All right, who's ready to dance? Got to check and see if this is turned up enough. Can people hear me? Hello, everybody. Time for some dancing. Yes. Before we dance, we're going to do a raffle here, so stick around for some dancing, but first the raffle.
All right, so for everyone who entered the Covered Bridge Society raffle, now is the time. I will need somebody to draw a ticket.
Sally can do it. Sally can do it. Sally, pick me. Doesn't matter.
Surprise.
Oh, the prize is there's a basket full of Covered Bridge stuff on the back that we set up. All kinds of goodies, plus a year membership in our organization. Let's see. Okay, so it just says Sue, 835-3020. Thank you.
Calling all dancers. Get a partner, come on up here. We'll figure out a dance that you can do. All right, we got one brave couple. We need at least 3 more. 3 more dancers. You gotta dance off that dinner you just ate. We got 2 now. We need 2 more couples, 2 more couples. I'm gonna teach you how to do it so you don't have to know how to square dance. You gotta be able to say that you square danced on the covered bridge. You got it. So, grab a partner and get right up here. Ask anybody, don't take no for an answer. All right. Excellent. We got 4 couples. Can we get anybody else? No, 5 couples. Anybody else? Can we get some more dancers? Okay, so since we have 5 couples, we're gonna. Great. 6 couples. Great, perfect. We'll start out with a Contra Dance. So you're going to be standing across from your partner. One of you will have your backs to either side of the bridge, and you're standing across from your partner. And it should start out with all the gents, those are the boys on my right. And if you're 2 girls dancing together, then it doesn't really matter, particularly in this dance. So you're standing across from your partner, facing your partner. Everybody have their partner straight across from them. Okay, we're going to start out with a really nice, easy dance. Little kids can do this one if they want to come in and join. You can tow them along behind you if you want to do it that way. So,
She left me. Goes the bridge.
I am not nervous. I've been down below this bridge. I was just joking. Okay, so this dance starts, you go forward towards your partner, 1, 2, 3, clap 2 hands with your partner. And you're going to back up into where you were, and then you're going to cross over and change places with your partner, passing right shoulders. Just go, it doesn't matter. All right, then forward and back, clap again, back up, and cross back home. Okay, then you're going to do what's called a balance and swing. Robert, can you guys show them how to do balance and swing? Okay. So you take 2 hands, and you can do 2 different ways. You can kind of go, what they did is go towards your partner and away, and then you go into the swing, which is, you could do, sort of a ballroom position. There you go. Just show you a couple of other ones. There you go. If you've got 2 ladies dancing together, you might just want to do like grab elbows. But lean back a little bit, because that's how you get to minutes. Okay? All right. The other way to do a balance is if you can go forward and back. You can also do this whole thing with step. Just don't kick your partners in the shin. Usually in Vermont, you do the right foot first, and then left foot, and hammer. Okay, wait. Okay, so everybody try that. Bounce and swing. When you finish the swing, everybody goes back out to their spot. In the top couple only, you're going to take 2 hands with your partner, and you're going to sashay all the way to the bottom of the set, okay? And if you want to, you can do a little fancy footwork along the way or spin around, but you're going to go from here all the way to the bottom of the set, okay? You don't need to walk through that part if you don't want to. But you'll end up, you're going to stay down there, okay? Because that's what you call the progression in the dance, because you don't want to have the same couple being the top couple every time. So we have a new top couple each time we go through. All right? Go forward and back. And cross right over. Stay over there. Hips forward and clap. Back up. Cross back home. Bounce and swing with your partner. Everybody step to the side. Top couple. Down center. There you go. It's forward, and clap, and back up, then cross back over. It's forward, 2, 3, clap, and cross back home. Bounce and swing. Top couple down the center. Everybody else move up this way a little bit. Move up this way. There we go. Forward and back. Cross right over. Forward and back. And cross back home. Bounce and swing. Top couple down the center. Clap back, right up, cross right over. It's forward, 2, 3, and cross back home. Bounce and swing. Top couple down the center. Watch out, everybody, they come. It's forward, and clap back, right up, cross right over. It's forward, where we need 4 couples in a set. So you want to get a partner, and then you need to get 3 other couples. So 8 people, and you can make a square. We have a set forming up here that needs 2 couples. We got 2 couples up here. Okay, so a few square dancing basics. You have 4 couples. Each one has their backs to they're forming a side of the square. Your partner's on one side of you. The person on the other side of you is your corner. So make sure you're on your corner because you end up dancing quite a bit with your corner as well. Okay, couple number 1 has their backs to the music. You know who number 1 is? Couple number 2 is to their right. Couple number 3 is facing us. And couple number 2 is to the right. Couple number 4 is to the right of couple number 3. They have their backs downriver. Okay. So the dance starts like this. Couple number 1, you're going to go out and face couple number 2. See if you can do that. Just face them. And you're going to join hands in a little group of 4, and then circle around to the left. And everybody hold hands, don't let go. Couple number 2, make an arch with the hand that joins the 2 of you. And number 1, you duck under that arch and then back up again. Don't go all the way through. And then the 1s make an arch, and the 2s duck under and back up. And this last time, the 2s make an arch again, and this time the 1s go through the arch, let go, and turn left. Go on to the left to the couple number 3. So go on to couple number 3. You're going to circle 4 with them. Circle 4 to the left. Everybody hold hands. Couple number 3 make an arch. The 1s duck for the oyster. Back out. Then the 1s make an arch and the 3s dig for the clam. And then they make an arch again and the 1s go right on through and hang a left and go on to couple number 4, where you circle 4 one time around. 4s make an arch and you duck for the oyster. And you dig for the clam. Then you duck through the hole in the old tin can. Everybody home to your home spot. All right, so everybody know who your corner is. You're going to do-si-do your corner. That means just walk around your corner without touching. Do-si-do your partner. Swing your partner. And then you're going to promenade 2 by 2 around the ring. Promenade 2 by 2. All the way around and back to your original spot. Remember where your spot is. Okay? That's all there is to the dance. Except couple number 1, we have to do that the duck for the oyster figure with everybody, and we do this swing your part and promenade, and then 2, and then 3 and 4. So everybody gets to lead the figure. Join your hands. Join your hands in one big ring. Circle to the left. Circle to the left. The left, the left, the left, the left. Back to the right. Do-si-do with your corners off. And partner. Swing that partner round, and couple one out to the right and circle four all the way around. One stop for the oyster, and then for the clam. Now up to the hole in the old tin can. On to the next and circle up four, circle up four. Up to the oyster, and for the clam. Now up to the hole in the old tin can. On to the next and circle up four. It's up for the oyster, and up for the clam. Now up to the hole in the old tin can. Everybody home. Those go with the corners off. Go see, go with your partner. Swing that partner round, round, and promenade. Couple three, couple two, out to the right. Sorry about that, couple two. Threes make an arch, up for the oyster, twos. And up for the clam. Jump through the hole in the old tin can. On to the next and circle up four, circle up four. It's up for the oyster. And up for the clam. Now up through the hole in the old tin can. And on to the last and circle up four. It's up for the oyster. And up for the clam. And up to the hole in the old tin can. And everybody home and toast go in the corner. Toast go with the partner too. And swing your partner. And promenade, promenade around the ring. Now couple three, it's out to the right and you circle up four. It's time for the oyster, and up for the clam. Now up to the hole in the old tin can, on to the next and you circle up four. It's up for the oyster, and for the clam. Now up to the hole in the old tin can, on to the last and you circle up four. Duck for the oyster, duck, and in for the clam. Now up to the hole in the old tin can, on to the last and you circle up four. Go to home you go, do-si-do that corner, and do-si-do with your partner too. Swing that partner round, and promenade, promenade. Last couple out to the right, couple number four. It's up for the oyster, and wait for the clam. Now up to the hole in the old tin can, on to the next and you circle up four. Duck for the oyster, duck, and wait for the clam. Now up to the hole, on to the last and you circle up four. It's up for the oyster, duck, and you wait for the clam. Now up on through and home we go, and do-si-do with your partner song, and do-si-do with your partner. Swing that partner around and around. Join your hands in one big ring. Circle to the left, circle to the left. And everybody left. And bow to your partner. Nice dancing. Okay, let's mix it up. Let's go. All you guys go down and get somebody else dancing. Grab them out here. We're going to do another dance that's done in a line, so can get lined up for some dancing. More dancers. I'm right up here. Okay, we can do this one. You guys have to do one Here was a good part. Okay, dance goes like this. Couple number one, you're going to take two hands from your partner. That's just the top, just the very top couple. These are only doing. And you're going to sashay to the bottom of your set and back up again. Sashay sort of a side dance. And then come on back up. And then everybody does a right hand turn with your partner. Right hand turn with your partner. And a do-si-do. And then you're going to straighten your lines out. Okay? And so this is the point where you want to try and remember where your set ends. What you're going to do is each person, each number one person is going to weave their way down their own line. Okay, you know how to weave, so you go around one person. So go ahead, weave your way to the bottom of the set on your own line. In and out, so you get to the very bottom. As soon as they go by, you move up just a little bit so that we don't end up all piled down there at that end of the bridge. Okay? That's all there is to the dance. So let's have the number one couple come back up to the top. To the bottom of the set. Bottom of the set. New top couple, ready to go. Sashay down, that's your Charlie go. And back. Right hand turn, everybody right. And everybody left. Two hands. And goes to go. Weave your way to the bottom of the set. Bottom of the set, bottom of the set. Weave your way to the bottom. New top couple, ready to go. It's sashay down, sashay down. And back. Right hand turn, everybody right. Everybody left. Two hands. Top couple weave. Weave your way to the bottom of the set. Bottom of the set. Bottom of the set. Weave your way to the bottom of the set. And we get by the way. New top couple go. Down center. Right hand turn. Everybody right. And left. set. You can dance with your partner, or I'll get another one. People in.
That was fun.
More couples on set. We got one couple here. We need a few more.
Patty. You want me what?
Go on, Patty, go on, come on. I need a breather. Go.
I'll show you. Very easy.
Fun.
All right, we've got one square set here. Let's get another square going in. Here come a few more dancers. Bring up a new square. We've got a room for a square right there. We need two more couples down here. Two more. We got one more. One more couple. We need just one more couple down here. Can we get one more? They're coming. Yep, we got another couple coming. Excellent. Okay, so square up your sets. If you have a lady and a gent dancing together, the gent should be on the left side and the lady on the right. In this dance, it doesn't really matter too much. Just to review a couple things, couple number one has their backs to the music. Couple number two to their right. Couple number three is facing us.
Yes, hey, everybody.
And then that couple number four is to their right. Your partner's on one side of you, your corner is on your other side of you. So make sure you know who your corner is. Alright? So this is another fairly easy square and a visiting dance, and it starts like this. Couple number one, you go out to couple number two and join hands and again four. We're gonna do that. Yep, join hands, circle to the left. Then lady number one, or if you have two girls dancing together, you just have to decide who's gonna be the bird and who's gonna be the girl. Okay? So this we'll call it Birdie in the Cage. And that's generally lady number one. You got two girls, and you just decide who's going to be the bird, who's going to be the bird. Birdie in the Cage, and you circle three. Circle three around the birdie. Birdie hop out, and the crow hop in. That's your partner. Circle three around again. You can call, yep. Crow hop out and swing your partner. On to the next. So circle four. Birdie in the cage, the same birdie in the cage. Circle three. Birdie hop out and crow hop in, circle three around again. Crow hop out and you swing the birdie. I think you got the hang of that. I don't think you need to walk that through again. So everybody go home to your home spot. Now all the couples get a chance to do that for you. So that happens. Let's just work on a couple of other things. Everyone do-si-do your corner. That's walk around your corner. And do-si-do your partner. Okay, so I'm going to teach you one kind of tricky figure here, because this is an easy dance. It's got to have a little trickiness to it. And this is a great figure to learn. So you're going to turn to your corner and give your left hand to your corner. You're going to do what's called an Alaman left. You're going to walk around your corner and come back to your partner. All the way around and back to your partner. Okay? So then you're going to give your partner your right hand. All right. Now you're going to go around the circle in the direction you're facing right now. You're going to go past your partner, go left to the next person, right to the next person, left to the next person, past your partner on the other side, keep on going till you get back to your home place with your own partner. Got it. Nice job. Okay, so the tricky thing about this is to remember that after you do the Alaman left with your corner, you've got to come back and say goodbye to your partner and go, otherwise you're gonna go in the wrong direction. So try it one more time. Now man left your corners all. Right hand to your partner, grand, right and left. Right to your partner, grand, right and left. All right, everybody go to your home spot if you're not there. Let's try one more time in 1 second. Okay, so remember, everybody face your partner right now. Everybody face your partner. This is the direction you're going to go in every time you do the grand right and left. You are not going in the other direction. Okay? Got it? All right, now turn around. Alaman left your corner. Come back and face your partner. Right to your partner. Walk straight by. Left to the next. Keep on going all the way around. And there you go. All right, nice job. All right, are you ready to go? Join your hands in one big ring, so to the left. Back to the right. Now do-si-do with your corners off. And do-si-do with your partner. Out and left your corner. Right to your partner. And grand right and left around. Here, we have over here we have Nate Payne on fiddle and Bob Ness on fiddle. We have Michael Donahue playing guitar and Alex Gallant on bass, and I'm Sally. And this is so much fun. We're gonna have to do this again.
No, it's Sally and the guys.
No, it's Sally and the Carboys. Willie and the Four Boys. could do that. Oh, we lost a couple. Well, why don't we do a contra dance then next? So, oh, they're coming back. Okay. We could get another square going too, I think. So we're going to do a contra dance next. So get a partner and form lines. You're standing across from your partner.
No, maybe stand 2
All right. So gents on the left, ladies on the right, standing across from your partner. Okay, join hands in groups of 4 from the top, this being the top of the set. So make little sets of groups of 4, all the way to the bottom. If you don't have quite enough, you've got an extra couple at the bottom, it doesn't matter. Just wait while I turn and you will in a few minutes. Okay, so all the gents should still be in one side and all the ladies should be in the other side. So you guys, this dance is actually not crossed. Well, actually maybe this one is crossed. Yeah, but let's do it together. So all the gents should be on one side. Nope, the other side. My right side. There we go. Okay. So you got your little sets of 4. And the number 1 couple, now that I made you guys cross over, you need to cross back. So all the number 1 couples switch places with your partner. Those are the couples closest to the music. Yeah, just needs to be regular. Okay, so this dance starts with the couple, the number 1 couples, the ones that just crossed over. You're going to face down, that's away from the music. And the 2s you're going to face up, that's toward the music. So you'll be facing a couple. All right, so you're going to start with a do-si-do with the person you're facing. And then the number 1 couple, do-si-do your partner. Then you do an Alaman left, that's a left-hand turn with the one below, the one you did the do-si-do with. And the ones, just the one, swing your partner in the middle. Then you're going to join hands with that couple and circle around to the left. And back to the right. And then you're going to hold hands, don't let go. Hold hands. It's number 2 couple, you're going to raise your hand up and the one stuck under and back out. Back out again. Back out, back out. And then the ones make an arch and the 2 stuck under and back out. We did this figure earlier in the square dance. And then the 2s make an arch. This time the ones go straight through, just one place, and you're ready to dance with a new couple. Okay? We're going to walk through it one more time. If you're at the top and the bottom right now, you don't have anybody to dance with, and the only job you have, besides making sure they don't bump into you, is switch places with your partner. Okay? So when you're at the top and the bottom, you wait out a turn, and you're going to switch places. So we're going to do it again. Circle, no, it's not. Do-si-do with the one below. Number 1 couples, do-si-do in the middle. Alaman left below. And the one swing in the center. Circle to the left with that couple. And back. 2s make an arch. 1 stuck under. Duck for the oyster. 2s dig for the clam. Duck to the hole in the old tin can. On to the next, but don't do anything because we're going to get some music on. Okay? Boys ready? Okay, so get ready to do-si-do with the window. Do-si-do with the wind below. One do-si-do with your partner. Alaman left below. And the ones you swing with your partner in the middle, just the one. Circle 4. And back. Nice seeing you.